Everyone, back for a video here, and today this video is going to be a bit different from my usual videos. Now usually on my channel I just make fun Wuthering Waves videos, playing the game, doing some challenge videos, doing some events and all of that. And well, I was planning to do that for Whimpering Waves Reset, and also since they were going to add an update to the actual game mode mechanic. And I thought it's going to be a fun video, seeing the new things. But what I saw was really disappointing, which is why I decided to not do that and instead make a video like this, just showing my concerns and talking about the problems of this mode and how they did not fix the core problems of this mode. So without further ado, let's get right into the video. So Whimpering Waste, if you don't know about this mode was added in 2.1, which instead of Tower of Adversity, where you're going to beat a couple of enemies where they have a lot of HP, in this mode you're just going to beat small enemies where they have little HP, but you're just trying to beat as many as you can to get a lot of points to get the rewards. The concept is interesting, but when it came out, it had a lot of controversy around it and there was a lot of problems with this mode. A couple of examples that I can give with the problems of this mode is first, the AI for the enemies were terrible. They would not attack you in any way, they would just sit there and sometimes they would even run away from you, which was really annoying since you're trying to kill as many as you can and them running away means you have to spend time running them down and killing them and all of that. The tokens were also really bad. If you don't know, tokens are basically the buffs that you're selecting for your specific team. And well, when the game mode first came out, there wasn't a lot of variety in the tokens and the gold tokens were too specific for characters and they were specifically designed for newer characters, so there was even more reason to pull for them. And well, because of these problems, the community really did not like this mode that much, and most people just play this just to get extra astrites to pull on the banners. But when this mode first came out, I thought to myself, they are going to fix this. This mode has a lot of potential, they're going to fix it, they're going to make it fun and also add a lot of more tokens to make the game mode more fun and interesting. Now from now on, the problems that I'm going to talk about the Whimpering Waste is just going to be about the infinite torrents, which is where a lot of problems are. The previous ships are not that hard to be honest, and with a decent account, you can get full rewards from these ships. The main problem is with the infinite torrents, which is supposed to be the hardest part of this mode. So basically like the middle tower of Tower of Adversity. And well, there wasn't a huge update for Whimpering Waste for a long time. They added some small things, they changed some tokens and all that, but nothing was really changed and it was stayed the same until the last patch, which was 2.5, where they basically increased the HP of the enemies in the infinite torrents by a lot. They increased it so much that for some people, even though they had multiple copies of a character, even though they had insane accounts, they were just not beating this infinite torrents simply because they didn't have the new characters so they can use their tokens, or they didn't have characters that were specifically designed for Whimpering Waste, or the characters that are really catered toward this mode, like for example Camellia, Frolova, and characters like that. Also, the tokens that they were adding were just for only one character and their team. Like for example, the Frolova token, where no one can even use this to a degree besides Frolova and her team. And they also removed a universal token where it would increase everyone's crit rate by 40% and crit damage by 80%. That token alone was insane for a lot of characters, and even if they were not the best characters for Whimpering Waste, that token would help them a lot. But instead, they decided to add tokens that were specifically designed for new characters or for specific teams and specific characters, and no one else could use those tokens. And so when this happened during the last patch, everyone got angry because what they did to this mode is either you have to pull the new characters to beat this mode, or you have to pull for the characters that are really good in this mode. Like as I said, Camellia, Frolova, and those characters. And this mode, instead of it being a skill check, a knowledge check, or even a DPS check, it became a character check. It was basically saying, do you have the character? No? Then have fun trying to get rewards, because you're not going to, buddy boy. And a lot of people got angry over it, obviously. And so, Kuro Games in their live stream talked about a new update to the Whimpering Waste mechanic itself, that they're going to change some of the things and make it better and, well, more interesting basically. And this update was supposed to change everything, like a new mechanic and some quality of life changes. This was supposed to be the update that me and a lot of people were looking forward to. But what came out was really disappointing. Now, what did they change with this update that was supposed to change everything? Well, they decided to add a mechanic which is called the burning waves. So basically, before this update, in the lower ships, there was a mechanic where after clearing a couple of waves, you would get a buff to your entire team. Now that buff was either your ultimate with all of your characters would be full again, so you could use it again if you have just used it, or your crit rate would be increased to 100%. It was a little fun mechanic, but it wasn't in the infinite torrents, unfortunately. So they decided to remove that and add a system around it that is going to be also activated in the infinite torrents. And basically what this mechanic now does is that by dealing damage or defeating enemies, you're going to get Ember, which you can see at the top left of your screen when you're in the Whimpering Waste. When this ember fills up, you're going to enter the burning wave state for 30 seconds. And in this state, you're going to deal 60% extra damage. Now my question is, why is this a thing exactly? I'm sorry, you just increased the HP of the enemies in the infinite torrents by a lot and then added an effect that makes you deal more damage? What's the point? What you just did was to make characters deal bigger numbers, but the actual feeling of the game mode has not changed at all. It's actually even worse because this burning wave state only activates for 30 seconds whenever you get it. So you don't have this buff throughout the whole fight. But then they decided to add tokens that were going to give some effects to the burning waves, which, let's see it, alright? So the two tokens that are going to affect this burning waves is first, the Augusta token. And well, this token is going to increase electro damage and AO damage by 20%, and whenever your characters get a shield, you're going to get 1 extra ember for your burning waves. And then when you're in the burning wave state, every 6 seconds when you deal damage, you're also going to activate a shockwave to the enemies as well. Now, as I said, this effect is going to be mainly for Augusta and, well, herself. Now, it is usable on other characters, which is good, but the other token is where this frustrates me. And to be honest, one of the main reasons that I wanted to make this video like this was because of this token, the falling star that tears fate apart. What is this token? Well, the burning wave state becomes permanent. Wow, what a deal. This seems amazing. While in burning wave state, resonators deal 50% more damage. Now this token seems amazing, but there's a huge catch. It says that it becomes permanent, but when you try it, you realize that you have to actually get the burning wave state for it to actually become permanent. Now, what is the problem with that? Well, to get the burning wave state, you have to deal damage or defeat enemies. So I'm sorry, who is this token exactly for? There were two main problems with this game mode. The first one was that there are only 2 ways that you can beat this mode, either by pulling the new characters and using their tokens, and even if the character is not really good for Whimpering Waste, the token is going to carry that character through it. Like for example, Augusta is not good for Whimpering Waste because when you're in her ultimate and the time freezes, the next wave of enemies are not going to spawn. So if you kill all of the enemies in that wave, the next wave is not going to spawn. But with this token, now you can get a full reward. And the other way that you could clear this game mode was with characters that were designed for Whimpering Waste or were really good at it, like Frolova, Camellia, and characters like those. And if you want to use characters that are not in these first 2 groups, well, you need to give them insane stats, whether that be from echoes, signature weapons, or even sequence notes. And even if you do that, it's not guaranteed that you can beat this mode. Now, the problem with this token is that it's not going to buff every character. It's just going to buff the already good characters for Whimpering Waste. And I'm sorry, those characters don't need a token. Those characters could have just used Plunder Captain Seal to beat the mode. So who is this token exactly for? Because if you use this token with a team that is not perfect for this mode and need the help of their token to beat it, well, it's not gonna do anything. Because then you're gonna spend 2 rotations to activate your Burning Wave state. And that means for the half of your Whimpering Waste time, you're just trying to get the buff from your token. For example, this team, Jiang Liao, Yanlin, and Shorekeeper, before I was able to get full clear with this team, with the token that would give 40% crit rate and 80% crit damage. Now ever since they removed that token, this team is not that useful, since they're really not designed for Whimpering Waste. And I tried this team with this token, and I wasn't expecting like a full clear, like getting 2500 points. No, as long as I got to 2000, I would have been happy. But with this token, it took 2 entire rotations to just activate the Burning Wave state so that I can get the buff from this token. And so, one more time I ask this, what is this token exactly supposed to be used for? Because it's not going to help weaker characters in this mode, it's just going to help stronger characters be stronger. So not only the problem of needing to pull for new characters or for Whimpering Waste characters to clear this mode has not been fixed, and it's now even worse if you think about it. There's also a second problem with this mode, and that is this game mode is not fun in any way. With Tower of Adversity, because there are bosses in the floors and they have some unique mechanics, the Tower of Adversity is at least a bit fun. Like for example, in this patch, we have Full Release in the middle tower, and when they added that, I was having a lot of fun with that boss. But in this mode, since there are no bosses and unique mechanics and there are just small enemies that you just kill them without them doing anything, well, there's just no fun in it. And this Burning Wave state was their chance to make it actually fun and have something unique to the game mode. But no, they just made it so whenever you have this effect, you're just going to deal more damage. And if you want other effects, well, hold the new characters for it to do more things. Wow, like they could have made this Burning Wave state so much, and I mean so much better, instead of just giving you extra damage, alright? Like the one that we had before, which would give you full ultimate or increase your crit rate to 100%, was actually fun in the previous ships, because well, who doesn't like an extra ultimate with your characters to deal more damage or your attacks always critting? But instead they added this effect, which is just giving you extra damage, which it's so disappointing, and it actually made this game mode less fun for me. Now, instead of just telling them fix this, I'm also going to give my opinion on how they can fix it and how they can make this game mode more fun. Now, even though I shit talk this new update a lot, it is still a step into the right direction. They can still change this and make it a better game mode. Like for example, the token that they released for Augusta is actually a lot better if you compare it to the Frolova token, which no other character can use this token at all besides Frolova and her team, which is Rochia and Cantarella. But with this token, some characters can actually use it. Like for example, if you have an Insane Junction, I think you can actually use this token and actually clear it a lot better. So this token, a good step to the right direction. Not this one though, I'm gonna be honest. So even though this update is bad, it's still possible to make it good. And here's my recommendation. There are two things that I want them to change. First one, make the tokens be usable on other characters. I don't mind the tokens being insane on the new characters. This is a gacha game at the end of the day, and they want to make you want to pull the new characters. I don't mind that. I just want these tokens to be usable on at least some other characters, alright? And be actually usable on them. Something like Tower of Adversity, where the middle tower is specifically for the new character, but other characters can actually use it to their advantage. Now, this is something that a lot of people has been saying, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about the tokens. Instead, I want to talk about the Burning Wave state. And here's my recommendation on how they can fix this new mechanic. So a change that I think would make this mechanic far more interesting is whenever you enter the Burning Wave state, instead of it giving you 60% extra damage, it's going to give you 30%, 40%, around those numbers, extra damage bonus. And instead, they can add a second effect to the Burning Wave state. And the second buff can be changed by the player and by using different tokens. So instead of having just one token for each row, there are going to be two tokens instead. One token is going to be the one that we have right now for the characters, where it's going to increase electro damage bonus, heavy attack damage bonus, all of those things that we have already now. So basically the usual tokens. The second token is going to be only about Burning Wave state, and it's going to be usable on every character. It's not going to increase your heavy attack damage bonus. It's not going to give you elemental damage bonus and all that. It's going to be usable on every character. And it doesn't have to be a lot of tokens. It can be just 3 or 4 tokens instead. And a couple of examples that I could give for the second effect of the Burning Wave state is one of them could give you full ultimate, one of them could give you 100% crit rate. So basically the buffs that we had before this update. Another token that they could add is one where whenever the Burning Wave state activates, the time is going to stop and enemies will freeze in time. It's basically like Augusta's ultimate, but this one is actually going to let you spawn the next wave of enemies. So basically the upgraded version of Augusta's ultimate. And it's going to make it easier to kill enemies, and you don't have to worry about grouping them up or them running away. And the last token example that I could think of is one where whenever the Burning Wave state happens, you're going to lose 80% of your HP for all of your characters, and each time that you recover HP with your characters, you're going to deal a shockwave damage to all of your enemies as long as you're in the Burning Wave state. So basically the shockwave is going to be like the Plunder's Captain Seal, and it's going to deal damage to the enemies. And basically this makes it so if you have a good healer and you can recover a lot of HP, then this token is going to be really good. So yeah, this was the idea that I had for this mode and how they could fix it. If you have any other opinions, if you have any other ways that they could improve this mode, let me know in the comments down below. Now, one last thing that I wanted to talk about before ending the video is that I know that some people are going to go in the comments, or they're going to think that this is just one endgame mode and it's just the infinite torrents. Why do you care about 100 asteroids to begin with? It's not that deep, you can just ignore it. And well, here's why this is actually more important than you might think. There's a saying where how you do one thing is how you do everything, or something like this. I don't know if it's the same exact words, but anyway, basically this mode is one of the main parts of the game. It's one of the end game modes where it gets refreshed every 15 days. So it's a core part of the game and it feels like trash to play it. And if they can keep doing this, well, what if in the future they do it to the Tower of Adversity? The last tower reset that we had, which in the middle tower would only buff Frolova and her team, wasn't really fun, was it? Now imagine if they keep doing that in Tower of Adversity as well. Now it's a different story, isn't it? Now fortunately, the Tower of Adversity has been fixed now, and this reset is a lot better, but still, the Whimpering Waste right now doesn't feel good, even though it's the main part of the game. But there's also another problem, which is actually a more important problem. We are really close to version 3.0, and that version is going to have one of the biggest collabs in the entire gacha history, which is the Cyberpunk Edgerunners collab. And there's going to be a lot of new players coming into the game. And endgame modes are supposed to be the final goal of a player, which is why it's called endgame, you know? When you start a gacha game, your final goal is to clear this Tower of Adversity, Whimpering Waste, holograms, all of these things. Now imagine a new player coming in and trying this endgame mode and realizing how dog shit it is. It's going to make them less interested into playing the game more often, which is why this game mode is really important. If this game mode becomes actually fun, or at least it doesn't make you feel miserable when you have all of the good characters, but just not the right characters for the mode, there are going to be more players playing the game, and more players means better updates for the game in the future. And more importantly, a bigger community for the game, which is always a good thing. So yeah, this is not about 100 asteroids, this is not just, you know, me coming in and saying why I can't clear this content and all of that. No, I actually can. I have some of the best characters, and I have 2 accounts, and there are no problems with me clearing this game mode. But when I think about free-to-play players trying this game mode and how they feel, it makes me worry about them, to be honest. But anyway, I know I yapped a lot, sorry about it. If you're like me and you want this mode to change for the better, the best thing that you can do is just give your opinion to Core Games, respectfully obviously, in their forums, in their Reddit, if they don't actually ban you, I guess, and basically any place that you can. But yeah, that is all for this video. Thank you all so much for watching the video till now. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll be back for another video. Bye bye!